Lord, for bringing us to this place. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us to this place both spiritually and naturally, a place where we want to get to know you more, a place where we want to serve you better, a place where we want to learn how to love one another the way that you showed us how to. Father, we say thank you. Thank you now for being our God. Thank you now for always leading and guiding us, always protecting us, oh God. Lord, we say thank you. Thank you now, oh God, for your banner over us is love. Father, we say thank you. Thank you now for keeping us where we are, oh God. Lord, we thank you that every good and perfect gift does come from above, oh God. So no matter where we are, no matter who we are, oh God, we can look to you, oh God, and know that you have nothing but good for us, oh God. You are a God that never fails, oh God. And we know that as long as we're in you, we cannot fail. So, Father, we say thank you. Thank you now that as you open up this word unto us, you'll open up our understanding, oh God. You will allow us the wisdom to be able to apply it, oh God, and to live and walk it out in Jesus' name. We appreciate you and we love you, Father. It is in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen. And amen. Thank you all for joining us here at Fire to the Nations for our Tuesday night Bible Alive. I'm going to take just a quick moment just to be able to share. We hope that you do the same. Please make sure that you share the video with your friends and family. Let them know Fire to the Nations is live and we are spreading fire to every single nation. We want to make sure that the word of God gets out, that even if you don't listen to this little church, that you will listen to the word that God has put forth to every nation. We thank God for you, and you. We thank God for you choosing to join us on today for this study of Acts chapter 2. We have been studying the book of Acts, and we love how God is opening up his word to us, how he is showing us ourselves, how he is showing us how we ought to be, and how he is showing us how to pray and get to where we need to be. So we thank God for it. We thank God for you joining, and we thank God for you sharing. Like I said, please make sure that you share the video, that you send it out to all those that need to hear a word. We all need a word from the Lord. So send it out to everyone so everyone can receive that which the Lord has given. So tonight we are, like I said, in the second chapter of Acts. We're in the second chapter of Acts. We're going to start at verse 29. But we have been talking and the Holy Ghost has been moving, and we appreciate him for that. We thank God for showing himself mighty and strong, even in our Bible alive. We thank God for that. We know we began Acts chapter 2 with a very familiar passage. Everyone talks about when the day of Pentecost has fully come. And we thank God for showing himself even at that time. The Bible said that there was a sound so loud and everyone heard it. And then as we continued on, we found out that not only those on the inside heard it, but on the outside were drawn by it as well. And we thank God for that, because it lets me know that no matter what state I'm in, no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing, I still have the opportunity to be drawn. I still have the opportunity to say yes to the Lord. I still have an opportunity to make him my God. We keep going, and now we are in a portion where Peter is preaching. Peter has stepped up to the plate. The church is now being built. Peter stepped up to preach a word from the Lord. Last week we talked about preaching, and we talked about how, most preachers, you have to give some sort of scripture, or maybe even scripture context. And Peter did that. We learned last week, just by reading parallel, Peter was preaching right out of Psalms. Peter was preaching right out of Joel. Peter was preaching right out of the word of God. And he was letting them know. And so This week, we thank God because Peter's still preaching. We thank God. We're going to start at verse 29, and I'm going to read down to 39, but we're going to see where we go with this conversation. So the word of the Lord says, Men and brethren, let me speak freely to you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried, and his tomb is with us to this day. Therefore, being a prophet, and knowing that God has sworn with an oath to him that of the fruit of his body, according to the flesh, he would raise up the Christ to sit on his throne. He, foreseeing this, spoke concerning the resurrection of the Christ, that his soul was not left in Hades, nor did his flesh see corruption. This Jesus God had raised up, of which we are all witnesses. Therefore, being exalted to the right hand of God, and having received from the Father the promise of the Holy Spirit, he poured out, to which you now see and hear. For David did not ascend into the heavens, but he says himself, The Lord said to my Lord, Sit at my right hand, till I make your enemies your footstool. Therefore, let all the house of Israel know assuredly that God has made this Jesus, whom you crucified, both Lord and Christ. Now, when they heard this, they were cut to the heart, and said to Peter and the rest of the disciples, Men and brethren, what shall we do? Then Peter said to them, Repent, and let every one of you be baptized in the name of Jesus Christ for the remission of sins, and you shall receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. For the promises is to you and to your children, and to all who are afar off, as many as the Lord our God will call. We thank God for his word. We thank God for what's going on here. I love the way that this passage of scripture is started. Peter said, Men and brethren. He said, the mature and the ones that are close. He said, the ones that can relate and the ones that are mature enough to relate, but maybe not be so sure. He called me, he called you, he called us all. He said, Men and brethren, let me talk to you about the patriarch David. If we don't know a whole lot about the Jewish community, because we're back to these were Jewish guys, right? And if we don't know a whole lot about their community, we know one thing. They love David. They loved David. David was their chosen king. David was their one. It's almost like you know how us today we talk about different historical figures, and sometimes we talk about how great they are and how all of this stuff. These people love David. So Peter said, Let me talk to you. He said, Let me speak freely. Or let me speak confidently. Let me tell you the real about this David. He said that he is both dead and buried. He's not the one. We spend so much time looking at people, looking at man. We look at man for levels of greatness. We look at man to see the standard. We look at man to see how we should act, how we should present ourselves, how we should move, the things we should do. And Peter said, but David was not the one that you should have been looking for. Why? Because they knew from studying. Remember, we talked about how they studied the scrolls, and they studied and they studied and they knew. Right, Cadence? So we talked about this, and these people knew the Messiah was not supposed to stay down. The Messiah was supposed to raise up. So Peter said, as much as we want to look to David, and yes, David was a good man, but David is dead and still buried. He said he's still down there in the ground, and his tomb is with us to this day. He's still in there. He's still buried. When Peter said his tomb, he was not talking about the physical place where you lay the body, but he was talking about his posture of death. He was talking about where David was. David is still buried. He said, therefore, being a prophet and knowing that God has sworn with an oath to him that the fruit of his body, according to the flesh, he would raise up. Peter started talking about the lineage. He said the buck didn't stop with David. It wasn't right there. See, a lot of times we look to these figures or historical beings or our ancestors or people that we thought were great people. What do we call them? Generals of the army of the Lord. You know, these people, we look at them and we look at their lives and we look at how great we think they were and we compare ourselves to them. And Peter is saying there's no comparison there. We need to look to Jesus. Peter is saying David was a great prophet and he foretold of the coming of Jesus. Why? Because these people were looking at David because they looked at it and see all the Psalms, and David made some great speeches and wrote some great letters and said some different things, right? But Peter is letting us know, and he's letting us know today, David was not it. I can't just look at what one man wrote and say, this is it. Why can't I do that? Because Christ came. Because he took care of that. And because he's not still laying there. He got up. Verse 30 says, therefore, being a prophet, so David told you, he said, knowing that God has sworn with an oath to him that the fruit of his body, God told David, your seed, the Messiah was going to come from the house of David. Did he not say that? That's what he said. And that was an oath that God made to David. The Messiah would come from your house. So I'm still wondering how they got that mixed up with that's David. You can't get that mixed up. He said the Messiah would come from your house. So in here, he said, God has sworn with an oath to him that the fruit of his body, according to the flesh, so in his lineage, he will raise up the Christ to sit on his throne. Christ would be the king over all of this. It didn't matter that the Israelites chose David because that's a human choice. But Christ was always meant to be the king. Always meant to be over this. It said God raised him up. So I looked at it and I saw where it said he will raise him up, capital H-E. So God will raise up the Christ to sit on his throne. Why would he make that comparison? Because who raised up David to sit on the throne?
The Christ.
Who raised the people?
Right.
The people chose David. Why? Because we look on the outside and we see, oh, he was a good man. Oh, he did this. Oh, he, whatever. So we're always looking for a fleshly figure. But God here had already let them know, and Peter is saying, this is what happened. God raised Jesus, the Christ, to be the ruler of it all. He said, and David, foreseeing this, he spoke about it. He let you know what was happening. But you are refusing to see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about it now. If you look at what Peter talked about in Acts chapter 2, and you look at what Paul talked about in Acts chapter 13, it's the same thing. The Bible, a lot of people like to say the Bible contradicts itself. I haven't seen it. I've seen it answer itself. I've seen it see different people say the same thing, but I haven't seen the contradicting nature that people like to say. I honestly think that people say that because they don't really want to follow it, you know? And I got to be able to say something to make it look bad so that I can look good for not wanting to do that. But Paul in Acts chapter 13, and remember at this time when Peter was talking, what was Paul doing? There. Paul was there. Mm-hmm. Paul came up, but was Paul an apostle at this time?
No.
No. Paul hadn't been raised up to that standard yet. But Paul talked about it later on. Why? Because there is a raising in the spirit that has to happen before you can get to the point of, I know Jesus is it. Mm-hmm. There has to be a level of elevation. It's not something that just shows up. We also notice, yes, Paul was there in Acts chapter 2, but he didn't talk about it until Acts chapter 13. That's years later. He had to get there. Go ahead, Bishop.
Praise the Lord. As I was looking at this and listening to you, I'm looking back when Peter started his sermon. Mm-hmm. In verse 22, he mm-hmm. said, a man attested by God. And attest means to have evidence. Mm-hmm. See, back then, the Jews, they believed David because he was a king.
Right.
And see, they expected when Jesus came that he would come in that same manner, mm-hmm. but he came lowly. And they didn't get that because they say, wait a minute, if that's the Messiah, because that's what the Christ is, yeah. The Messiah. And remember, a lot of the Jews still have not received Christ right. as the Messiah. They still have not, they still looking for the Messiah.
Right. It's an evidence of us looking for what we're looking for.
What we're looking for. Mm-hmm. But he said, what Peter is doing is trying to prove to them that this is he.
And you saw it.
And you saw, he said he raised him up with signs, mm-hmm. miracles, and wonders.
Yes.
David didn't do these things. But David did preach about, he prophesied
yes.
about the coming Christ.
Right.
But they still didn't see it.
No.
Because we have to be able to put our hands on something.
Right.
God is saying, trust me, believe me, I am. When you see me, you see the Father. The very image and likeness of God was Jesus. Mm-hmm. So he said, when you see me, you see the Father. So when you hear me, you hear the Father.
Right.
So we have to see that. And not only some of us, but the Jews, they didn't receive it either.
No.
They didn't receive it. And that's what he's going to. He's trying to prove to them that the same man that you thought was not it, was it.
Right. He's really trying to share the gospel of salvation mm-hmm. with these people that do not believe in the gospel.
They don't believe
at all.
And that's just like some of us. We want the miracles, we want the signs, we want the wonders, mm-hmm. but we don't want to believe.
Or we don't want the spirit that comes with it.
Yeah.
Because mm-hmm. in order to receive these miracle signs and what they happen every day.
Yes.
They happen all the time. Mm-hmm. But in order for us to truly receive them, we have to be able to connect with it in the spirit. And many of us cannot do that. We don't have the wherewithal to do that because we have not awakened the spirit. God has not raised us to that level of elevation yet. Why not? Because we haven't accepted it.
We haven't accepted it.
It's not that he doesn't want to do it. It's not because he already said, even here, he said that he would raise him up according to the flesh. He would raise Christ to sit on the throne. Where does Christ live?
At the right hand of the Father.
At the right hand of the Father. Where's Jesus?
In Christ.
On the inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
On the inside of you. So you have to be raised up to that level. But if you don't believe it, if you can't receive that, why? Because you're still looking for what you're looking for.
And you have to know that the very thing that God has purposed in you was given to you before the foundation of the world.
It was already in there. We said last week in Jeremiah, he said, before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you.
I knew you.
How did he know you? Spirits connect. He knew you because he breathed his own spirit on the inside of you.
Yeah.
He
and
knew
so
you.
when you say that he was not it yet, he was already it, but we have to walk in that thing.
Yes.
See, a lot of time God said he was wounded. Jesus said, I was wounded for your transgression, over in the book of Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
Bruised for your iniquities, the chastisement of your peace was placed on me. Now, if that's it, why do we take on things? And I'm talking from the pulpit to the door.
Oh, yes.
Why do we take on these things if it's already been healed?
Because we don't believe.
Don't believe, because Mark 11:23 says what? When you stand, pray. Let me go over here real quick.
Yeah.
11:23 and 24, Mark. It says, for surely I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and be cast into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart. That's the problem right there.
That is.
But believes that those things he says will be done, he will have whatever he says. Now 24 say, therefore, I say to you, whatever things you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them and you will have them. See, it's easy to receive some things.
Oh yeah.
But other things, but he didn't distinguish between the things.
No.
He said
he never does.
Whatever.
He said whatever. He said whosoever. He said nevertheless. He said therefore. What he's saying is it's not distinguishable by your eyes or by your eyes, but it's by me. All you have to do
is receive it. That's all you have to do.
But in order to receive it, what do I have to do first? Believe. I got to believe. But that is so hard for us because we have been, I'm not going to say taught, I'm going to say conditioned. We have been conditioned to look for things in our eye view. We have been conditioned to not look for the things of the spirit, but to look for the things of the natural. I've been conditioned to call you smart if you make certain grades. I've been conditioned to call you healed if you can run and jump and move and all of that stuff. I've been conditioned to do those things. But God never separated. What he said was, you are the healed of the Lord. What he said was, healing is the children's bread. He never said healing is the children's bread if you look like you healed and can run a mile. He never said any of that. What he said was, you are healed. It's up to you to believe it. It's up to you to receive it and walk in it.
You cannot walk in something you don't believe.
Right.
If you call me, you can call me Mary all day long. I'll never answer.
Because why?
I'm not Mary. That's not me. Jesus said, you are healed. And then I believe it was over in James or Peter, I believe, that picked it up and said, "You were
You
healed."
were. Mhm.
I'm trying to tell, and myself
And the word is
also,
because it had already happened.
it already happened.
Mhm.
And so we have to get to the place, because we're just like these Jewish people here
Yeah,
that really didn't believe this.
right.
And
And we don't. But it's to the point, and we'll get down to it, but down in 38, after they looked at each other and said, "What are we supposed to do now?" He's talking, it done pricked my heart. I know what he's saying to be true. Peter said, "Just repent. Just turn it around. Turn from that. Go from unbelief to belief. Let's remove the unbelief part."
when he say repent,
Mm-hmm.
that tells me that there was a certain place from the beginning of time that God had set for us.
Yeah.
We came down from that place. Repent means to get back up
go
into
back.
that place. And when you
Mhm.
get into that place, he sent us an example to see the place that we should have been walking
Right.
in. But we came down from it.
That's why it's important for us to look at these scriptures and find ourselves.
Yes,
These are not stories that we're reading.
it's life.
This is life.
Yes.
This is every day. This is about you and about me. This is not as they talking about David again. Oh, no. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about the one that's still dead and buried, but needs to be resurrected. I'm talking about you.
And that's why Jesus came and said, when Lazarus was in the grave, he said, listen, that's how you know they don't believe.
Huh.
Because Lazarus was in the grave and all they could see was a dead man stinking.
That's it.
And Jesus said, I'm the one to raise him up.
And that's all they talked about. Do you remember in that story, what was the first thing that one of Lazarus' sisters said?
If you had come, if you had been here.
If you had already been here, he wouldn't even be dead. And Jesus sitting up there telling you he's not dead.
He's not, he's sleeping.
Then,
but it do him good if he's sleeping, right, Master?
Then they said,
because that's natural too.
Or if you open that, if we roll away that stone, he's already stinking there. He already dead. Jesus said, I'm telling you, it's kind of funny reading it now and thinking about, because we always say what we would have did.
Yeah.
Right? So we're like, if Jesus would have told me that, I would have just been like, oh yeah, he up. No,
you wouldn't.
Because all your life, all you've ever heard was that thing is dead. He's dead. Put him in the tomb. Let it go. So I don't care who stand up and tell you right now, it's not dead. It's just sleep. Your mind says it's dead.
It's dead.
We buried it.
And
we had a whole funeral.
Your faith be it unto you.
Right.
So you can get somebody to pray for you, and while you're standing in the midst of that person praying for you, they can be healed. But the moment that they leave your presence and go out and start opening their mouth, because our tongue will kill everything.
Yes.
We will say, you know what, I got the prayer, but I still feel sick. It ain't about the feeling now.
Yep.
You got to stand on what you have received, ed past tense.
Amen.
You have to stand on that.
No
matter what the doctor say, because you got to go back to the doctor. I don't tell anybody, don't go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Go back to the doctor. He said, no, it's still there. That tumor is still there. As a matter of fact, it's growing. You still got to open your mouth and say, but I'm healed.
But I'm healed.
I'm healed.
Yes.
Because why?
You have to speak it.
Yes.
Come on, y'all. Look at verse 31. Acts 2:31. It says, he, foreseeing this, so we're talking about what David wrote back in Psalm 16. That's where it is. It says, he, foreseeing this, spoke concerning the resurrection of the Christ. Now, if I believe that Jesus Christ is living on the inside of me, that means I got to get up from some of this stuff. David spoke about it back then. That means that it's possible, right? I have to believe that I can get there. The belief is important. I know a lot of us, we went through church, and there was at one point, and I think it was back in the 90s, there was a saying that came out, and we were all like, I think we could take that out or whatever. It said, God said it, I believe it, and that settles it. And some of us wanted to take out the middle.
I believe it.
No, because you got to believe
You
it.
must believe.
Because if you don't believe it, and we are the vessels being used here on earth, so if you don't believe it, nothing's going to happen.
If you don't believe that you received it. See,
Right.
that's the thing. Everything in this holy scripture that was inspired by God for men to write, we got to believe everything in here.
I got to believe every word.
Man
shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
Absolutely. And what we have to understand is a lot of times what's happening, the Bible says faith comes by hearing and hearing. And this is what it takes, the hearing. And after a while, you can live what you're hearing.
Yeah.
See, when I was born, when I first came out of the womb, although at the hospital, my mama named me Kim, it took some time for me to get to the place where I understood I'm Kim.
Right.
Now you can't call me nothing else.
Right.
Because that's who I am. But
because you heard it
for so long. Over and over and over. But the thing is, you can't get people to come to Bible study. You can't hardly get people to come to prayer. These are things that's necessary for us to get it. Because a lot of times we don't open the Bible no more until Sunday.
Right.
I'm healed. I'm delivered. I'm set free. I don't care what it looks like on the outside. I don't care what it feels like. The doctor can say what he wants to say, but I am the healed of the Lord.
Yes.
And just like when we went to the restaurant the other day, and my son-in-laws was coming there because it was pouring raining, and they were coming with the umbrella, and I said, why? Because I was doing two things. I was on the phone. The other thing, I was speaking to the rain to see. Because see, I'm ready to step out in this stuff. But I've done it in the past, but circumstances and situations in life causes you sometime to forget what you've learned.
True.
But I'm sitting there and I say, Rain, I told you to stop in Jesus' name. Not in my name, but in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
And when Jesus spoke to the storm, it told me that if he's inside of me, I can now speak to the storm. So it's time to stop talking it and begin walking it.
Yeah.
We have to live this life. Yes.
It's the point of walking.
It's that point, right?
So there. you said it's time to stop talking it. Let's say it this way. It's time to stop just talking about it. And start walking in it. Let me show you where that's at. In verse 31, it says, he, foreseeing this, spoke concerning the resurrection of the Christ, that his soul was not left in Hades. The word Hades, it's not the place of torment.
Right.
But it is the place of the dead. So, if we look at it now, it says, nor did his flesh see corruption. It's saying that it didn't have to stay in the dead place. You don't have to stay in the place of your corruption, in the place of whatever you were in. You don't have to stay in your sin. We're able to walk up out of that thing. How are we able to walk up out of that thing? Because God said that he would resurrect us right there. If I believe that in Christ I am a new creation, that means if a baby is born, we don't go and bury it. It's new. We raise it up. We teach it to walk. We teach it to talk. We teach it to live. That's what God wants to do for us. We don't have to stay buried. We don't have to stay in the dead place. We don't have to stay in our stuff. You are not condemned to hell unless you choose to go there.
Absolutely.
That's on you. You're not condemned to that place unless you make a choice to do it. Why? Because he's letting us know in this Bible study, I don't have to live in that stuff.
You don't have, and that's the thing. It's choices.
Choice.
We have choices we have to make. Jesus says, I lay before you, I set before you life and death. He say, choose
life.
Why is it that sometimes we choose death? Because our flesh is still too alive.
Oh, yes.
It's still too much in control because we allow it, and God is watching. We're coming to a time now in this life that we need to make a decision.
Yes.
He said in the Old Testament, he said, choose, God, I feel you. Choose you this day. Who you going
this
now,
day.
it could be tomorrow.
Jesus.
We better choose the day.
This day.
It could be next week. We
and he's not
saying
this day. Choose a day. He's not saying, oh, I could wait till Thursday, or I could wait till Sunday, or I could wait. He said this day.
This day.
The day. No matter what state you're in, this day. He said choose it right now.
Choose it. And it could be next Monday.
Yeah.
But he's still saying the same thing.
Choose it.
Choose it. Choose life.
He says do it right now while you have a chance.
While you have a chance.
For when night cometh, no man can work. You don't have a choice then. It's over.
We have to understand what he's doing.
Yes.
Peter is so pushing Christ. Now it just the thought came to me. Here we got Peter preaching, the same Peter that said thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And a few scriptures later said Jesus had to say, Jesus didn't even address Peter because he understood, Peter, you still in your flesh.
Yes.
He addressed the devil that was in Peter.
Oh, yes.
Trying to use Peter. Sometimes we got to allow God to address that devil.
Come on.
We better.
We gotta allow him to address it. Why? Because we won't.
We won't address that devil.
Because I'll never sit up and tell you all the stuff that I've done. But God can pull that stuff out. That's how this sermon went. That's why, like I said, at the end, even in verse verse 37, when they were talking to each other, he said, now when they heard this, they were cut to the heart. It went all the way down. It pierced them. It pierced this flesh. It went all the way through, down to the heart, down to that thing on the inside, that thing that make you cry in the church service. It convicted them. It said, oh, I don't have this right. It made them say, what must I do?
What must I do?
Jesus.
And then he said in 36, just to go up, therefore let all the house of Israel know, talking about them Jews.
Oh, yes.
And now he's talking to some of us too, because we don't believe it.
No,
assuredly. Now, there's no doubt.
It's no doubt.
Certain. There's nothing to think about. No, assuredly, that God has made this Jesus.
Yep.
The one that you crucified. The one that you said wasn't it.
Yep.
The one that you say, crucify him, the same one that you said Hosanna to before. He said, this Jesus, he made him both Lord and Christ. In other words, he can be some of our Lord, but he also got to be our Savior.
Also has to be.
He has to be.
That's how you know, if you look at this, okay, I'm going to make a statement. There are a lot of good people doing a lot of good things in this world. But there's going to be a lot of good people that did a lot of good things in hell.
Because we think our good morals is going to get us in.
It's not your morals.
Just because I preach on Sunday.
Yeah.
if my life does not reflect him, I don't care how much Jesus, I need a preacher to hear me.
Yeah.
Just because you're preaching does not make your way into heaven clear.
No.
You got to understand this thing has to be done by Christ.
Oh my God.
It has nothing to do with us.
Nothing.
It has everything to do with our obedience to the call that he called us into. The Bible says, let your convocation, let your gift, let it be sure.
Sure.
You make sure of it. And once you're sure of it, walk in it.
Yes.
And don't let people come and say, I thought you were saved. Let's not bring a reproach. We got to stop bringing reproaches on God. We got to stop.
So it is important that I look saved. It is important.
It is.
Why? Because he said don't bring a reproach on his house.
Don't do that.
It is important. It says, verse 32 says, this Jesus has raised up. This Jesus God has raised up. Let God raise up the Jesus in you.
And what's the end of that 32?
Of which we are all witnesses. We all saw it.
You saw it. You saw it. We looked at it. And some of us in our hearts, we know it. But it seems like there's something that's blocking. Our flesh needs to be crucified.
Yes.
It needs.
That's why it's important that down in 37, that it said it pierced down, it cut to the heart.
And that's the
it
only
went
way
past that flesh. See, some of us, we gonna cry because we gonna cry. I'm gonna tell you, I'm a water bag. So if I see something that's emotional, I'm gonna cry. But it's not until it cuts down to my heart that I'm gonna change. A cry does not equate to a change, but a change is a change. He said, let me get through this because I'm trying to get out. He said in 33, it says, therefore being exalted to the right hand of God, and having received from the Father the promise of the Holy Spirit, he poured out this which you now see and hear. Yeah. So not only he was ascended, we all saw it. Things are happening. People are being put in place. Now, not only do I have to hear it, but I can believe it. Because I saw it.
I see it. And that's what he asked John's disciples.
Yes.
He said, don't, I don't want you to tell him that I say who I say I am. See, I don't want you to go and tell other people that I'm saved unless you see it.
Yeah.
Jesus said to John's disciples, go tell him what you saw.
Go tell him what you saw.
See, we got to get to the place to where it's a seeing thing. What did he ask Jeremiah? He said, Jeremiah, first he asked, what do you see?
What do you see?
Then he said, what do you hear?
What do you hear?
Those two things are so
important. You got to get to a place of both. It's about posture.
If you're a prophet, you got to see and hear.
And hear. He said, he poured out this which you now see and hear.
And hear.
You got to do both. You got to be in a place of both. We're talking about posture here. He said in 34, he said, for David did not ascend into the heavens, but he says himself, the Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool. Yeah, it's about being in the right position.
He's a true prophet.
Let me tell you something real quick before we get out of here. It is important, it is imperative that a bodyguard or an adjutant or whatever you want to call it be at the right side. That's posture. Let me tell you why. Because usually the powerful hand or the dominant hand is the right hand. So if I'm standing at your right side, I can block you with my left, but I'm always sword ready or weapon ready with my right. I'm always ready. I'm always, he's reminding me, the word says, be ye also ready. I'm always on guard. I'm always ready if I'm in the right place. The only way I can be in the right place is if I allow God to raise up or to resurrect the spirit that he already put down on the inside of me. Jesus is sitting at the right hand of the Father. He's in place to do his job.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be in place to do ours.
But what we have to stop doing, we have so learned how to go to church and act the part on Sunday.
Come on.
But nobody in our jobs, nobody in our grocery stores, nobody else in our families, they don't even know we saved.
Jesus.
When they come to church and see you acting the way you act at church, they say,
they're so shocked.
What? I didn't know that they were. We got to stop. That's a reproach.
Yes.
We have to be careful. God sees all of this. He sees everything. We say he's omnipotent. We say he's everywhere at all times.
Come on.
And we say he's omnipresent.
Yep.
We say he's omniscient. We say all of these things, but do we truly believe these things when we're outside of the presence of the pastor?
Right. So tonight we have talked about two things. We've talked about ascension and we've talked about posture. We've talked about allowing God to put us in the right place so that I can be where I need to be, so I can do the job that I am called to do. We are not reading Bible stories here. We are not teaching children's Bible stories. We are talking about our lives.
Yes.
This is life. We're talking about it. We're moving about it. We're spreading fire. We thank God for you guys joining us tonight. That, when Bible study get good, it go by real quick, real fast. But we thank God for you guys joining us. Listen, join us every Tuesday night for our Tuesday night Bible Alive. We thank God for y'all coming in and praying and partnering with fire. We are going to take this opportunity to give, and you can do so too. You can give. How about you just go to our website, go to firetothenation.com, firetothenation.com, click the giving tab, and you can give there. You can also give via Zelle, and that address is fttn19@gmail.com. Again, it's fttn19@gmail.com. You can use Cash App. That address is $FTTN. Either way, give. We thank God for you, and you. Listen, don't forget to continue to keep us in prayer. Keep Fire to the Nations in your prayers. We are continuing to pray for you. We are continuing to study the Word of God, and change is happening. Change is happening, and we thank God for that. We thank God that lives are changing. We thank God that people are being healed and the testimonies are coming forth. We thank God for it all. We want you to join in with fire. Listen, this Saturday, May 31st at 11 a.m. over at Bethune-Point Park. The intercessory team will be over there praying and talking about how to hear from God. Whether you feel like, because most of us don't hold the title of an intercessor, but if you feel like the Lord has prompted you to pray for others, you should be in the park. Join the intercessory team May 31st from 11 to 1 at Bethune-Point Park as we talk about how to hear from God and also learn to pray. Come out, join in, and be a part of what fire is doing. Also, Saturday, June 28th, there will be baptism. There will be baptism over at Bethune-Point Park. At the same time, join Saturday, June 28th, Talk to Sister Kiara Fuquay if you want your name on the list to be baptized. It is time. It's time. We see change happening all around. Let change happen in your life. Let change happen in your life. Let it start right now. Join us on Friday morning at 5 a.m. for our Praying with Fire. Friday morning at 5 a.m. You can join via Facebook Live or YouTube Live. You can also join us Sunday afternoon at 12:30 for our fire experience. Sunday afternoon at 12:30 for our our fire experience. Our men's ministry are going to a men's conference. That is June 27th, 28th, and 29th. It'll be over at Word and Praise Family Church. If you would like more details about that, if you want to join the men's ministry in that, get with Brother Daniel Fuquay and he can give you all the details for that. We appreciate you guys coming in, spending time with us at our Tuesday night Bible Alive. If you find it not robbery, join us for one of our services in-house. We are at 730 Bevel Road, right here in the United Presbyterian Church. We would love to have you. We would love to worship with you and love to love on you. Continue to spread fire, continue praying, and you guys have a wonderful